Well, here it is, Tuesday.
Here we are.
Tuesday at 7:05.
I know we're 5 minutes
Welcome,
late.
welcome, listeners. I'm gonna
Don't
welcome.
worry,
I'm
we're
gonna start doing a welcome I'm gonna welcome listeners, Kenya. Welcome, listeners, to our Tuesday Tennessee USA Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, State Chairman Mike Hatcher, and this is my co-host, National Champ Kenya Sloan. How we doing?
We're doing good. I love that intro.
There we go. Something better. Every week, I think we got to step it up a little bit more.
And we do on accident too. Normally we hop on and we're just like, so we're live.
Yeah, let's just start chatting. But but you know what? Here's the deal. When you have somebody like that's hosting, like myself, who has trouble at times showing up on time to things. Sometimes the podcast starts at 7, sometimes 7:03, sometimes in this case 7:05. That's all right though.
Yeah.
Sure. We listeners might they might know me well enough to where they don't they like, wait a second, I don't know.
Yeah. Don't get worried if you've been on the live for 5 minutes, and we're coming every Tuesday. We're coming.
That's it. We're coming at them live. Good. So what's up, Kenya? What's going on in your world?
What's going on in my world? Nothing crazy. It's getting cold here. It's winter. The sun sets at like 4:45 in the afternoon in Colorado Springs. 4:45. So yeah. But yeah, nothing crazy. Nothing super crazy wrestling wise. Been dabbling and talking to some people and coaches in Tennessee, but I guess all of that we'll have some big reveal some point soon, I guess.
All right. I'm liking that. I'm liking the sound of that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm liking the sound of that. I mean, Colorado, yeah, that's cool and everything, but women's wrestling's up and coming here in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Good things going on, you know.
Yeah, getting out just in time. It's gonna be cold and nasty here, so might as well move home.
That's good. I like the sound of that. I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
Good.
What's going on in the world of our host?
Oh, the world of me. You know what? We started our first. We had our first practice last week. First session of our fall and winter session for our Young Guns club. So had real good numbers Wednesday. I was actually halfway planning a trip. I always kind of build like a week or two break in between when we start the sessions, but the kids wanted to keep going. So I was like, all right, well,
you got to give people.
I guess we'll keep going. And so there was no break. And I was like, wait a second. But I had a trip to Mexico planned.
Yes.
And I was going to let my assistants, run it while I was gone. But then I was thinking, I don't know. First night of practice, I felt this. I'm not there, and I'm in Mexico, and we're starting. We had some new parents there too. We had some new kids there, so I kind of made a big boy decision for once. A mature decision. Actually, kind of proud of myself. A lot of my friends.
Let me do the right thing.
Eric Harrison, for one of them, is very proud of me and the decision I made. So, but I stuck back and I went to practice last week. Got that started, kicked off, but. I did go to my first Ole Miss game last weekend. So I was in Oxford last week.
Oh, cool.
Thursday through, I stayed Thursday through Sunday. I was there 3 nights. So it was cool. I've never been to Oxford. I've always been dying to go, just, because I think college towns are so cool and a lot of fun with the traditions and stuff. And they were playing Texas A&M, which ended up being a great game.
Probably.
It was a great game. Yeah, it was really good. And went with Derek Harrison from Christian Brothers. And then, when I was coaching there, I coached there for about 3 months a couple of years ago. Wills Bronson, who was a state champ last year for them. His dad played tennis, a very successful tennis player back then, and is in their M club and all that stuff. So got us tickets. Me, Derek, Todd Butler, who's Mason Butler's father from Christian Brothers, and William Bronson went to the game and saw the Grove and saw the history. He took us in the M Club, went to the Manning Room, and all this. It was pretty cool. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah, I mean, we think. I mean, I'm from Iowa, so we tailgated pretty good. We thought, our football was, it's nothing like this. SEC is crazy. It's another level.
Oh, since moving here, and people talk about. First of all, they talk about college football teams I've never heard of before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that doesn't even happen with the SEC, I don't think. I think everyone everywhere knows all of them. And it is, you're right, like being in especially like an SEC college town, it's like you get fully immersed in that culture. And it's like, I see why people get like addicted to it. It's fun.
It's crazy. I mean, because I'm not huge. I mean, if I'm cheering anybody, it's Iowa. It's obviously my alma mater. But it's a lot of fun. I mean, I had Old Miss colors on. I'd red, wear the red, and it was fun. It was good.
That was fun.
Yeah, it's good. So
well, cool.
But yeah, that was my weekend. So now we're back at it. I went to a middle school wrestling match today and get practice tomorrow. So yeah, just grinding away.
Grinding away.
That's it. We got a good show coming on here today.
We do. I'm really excited for it, actually. Well, I'm always excited, but I'm particularly excited.
Yeah, well, I know you're excited because you got a really good friend of yours coming on here too. So
yeah, my best friend in the world. Hopefully, she doesn't tell any of my terrible secrets on here. I'm gonna have to.
I know. You might edit. Well, this is going live. Tell her we're not editing. We don't edit here around this.
I told her.
We don't edit here.
I feel like I owe a warning to our listeners because this person is a person that it just in her normal life things should probably be edited out. And we're not going to get that opportunity today. But it'll be a lot of fun. She's fun.
Yeah. Well, for those who didn't read the description beforehand, we actually are going to have 3 Tennesseans that are wrestling at the college level right now currently, which is really exciting. We have more, obviously, and we have a number of kids that we could reach out to.
Oh, there's so many at this point. Yeah, we can't even keep up anymore.
I know we have a lot, and it's really cool, and it's just it gives us a very, very big I guess I call it idea base maybe of people to have on the show. We always have college kids on there, but so we've got some good ones coming on or coming on later, I should say, and then we have another kid that. Very unusual story, honestly, with this college commit that we had right now. I mean,
I'm excited.
I'm really excited to have him on as well. He's a great kid, and I can't wait for him to share his story and share, kind of his future plans and everything. But but we'll kick it off. I figured what would be a good way to. I guess this is almost like a college segment, so to speak. Obviously, both the hosts here wrestled in college. One. Quite a bit longer ago than the other, but I'm not going to say any names. But
it was me. Sorry.
Sorry. But I figured it would be good for the listeners just to kind of, really kind of maybe get a little bit of background in our college experiences because, it's just I don't think, and obviously I'm biased, but I don't think there's a more difficult task to handle than to wrestle in college.
I mean, if you did that
and balance everything, I'm just telling you. I mean, what kids do, whether it's D1, D2, D3, NAIA, even I was, and I've coached obviously a bunch of college levels as well. Even when I was coaching, there was an NWCA. We had an NWCA club team when I was at Grand Canyon, and even those kids, because I mean, which is supposed to be a very, very, very laxed, organization, very lax league. I mean, the AD that hired me, he was like, if we can get 20 kids in the team and whatever, if the guys practice 2-3 times a week, it's a club team, whatever, it's a club team. Sure. I'm like, okay. At the beginning, I was like, it's a club team. I can only work 2 to 3 days a week. But then, you get halfway the season. I'm like, shoot, I want to win too. We ain't gonna win. Just practice 3 times a week. We're gonna go 5 days a week. And then all of a sudden, now we're doing 2 days. And now it's at the end of the year. It is what it is. So whatever level it is, I'm telling you, I mean, what kids have to go through wrestling practices and go to their academics, and there's nothing like it. It's just there's nothing like it.
I agree. I think what I put together is that, I mean, obviously this can be variable from athlete to athlete or student to student, but what is common about a wrestler, someone who wrestles, is that they don't want to halfway do anything. They want to do things all the way. We want to win. And especially if you made it to the point where you wrestled, when you were a kid, and then you wrestled in high school, and then you're crazy enough to think, I want to keep doing this and I want to keep winning. No one wants to lose, right? No one's going to go to college so that they can get their butt kicked for 4 years. And so it's if you made that decision, then you're going to do it all the way for the most part. Again, that might not be everybody's story, but I mean, even if you're in a program that might be not as intense or the highest level or in the most competitive conference, if you're wrestling in college, then you're doing it all the way. That's just what wrestlers do.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's just the daily grind of being a wrestler that wants to be competitive. Is just, it's so difficult. And it's hands down, obviously the most difficult thing you're possibly going to, because everybody wants to get something in the morning. You get a workout in the morning, then you go to school, you go to class, you study, and then you get practice in the afternoon. And just what you have to do from a physical standpoint during a wrestling practice alone it's just unmatched, with anything else out there. So
like even if you don't want to try hard, but if you're in a program, like you're still going to be dying and burning. Like, you still have your morning, even if you do them terribly, you're still getting up at 5 a.m. to go to practice.
Exactly. Yeah. You're still going to do it,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about like you, whenever you were wrestling in college.
Well,
or how'd you choose Iowa, first of all?
Yeah. Well, I was at Iowa. I was at the University of Iowa from 1991 to 96, which I've got a lot of, I guess, stories that I could tell. I mean, it was 5 years in what a lot of people consider the best era of Iowa wrestling. I mean, that was Dan Gable was my coach. So obviously he coached for 21 years, won 21 Big Ten championships, won 15 national titles in 21 years. And I was fortunate enough that I was on the team for 5 years. We won 4 national championships 5 years that I was there. Out of the 4 out of the 5 that I was there.
Yeah.
So
that's like a lifetime experience.
Yeah, we got second the other one. It was really weird because you wouldn't think that things would be so gloomy after a second place finish in the NCAA tournament.
No, if you have a standard,
I mean,
it happened to us too, like different league, different everything. But like we were national champions, and then we lost in the finals, and like some teams would be so happy to, get second in the country, but if that's not the standard for your program, it's heartbreaking.
Exactly. And it was, so, I mean, I was a part of what arguably could be the most competitive room that has ever been in college wrestling. I mean, we literally were, I mean, and because this was even before any type of like restrictions and stuff like that clubs would have with practicing with with what are now called RCC athletes. So when I first got there, I mean, Tom Brands, All-American, returning national champion, Terry Brands was returning All-American. But they had guys like Barry Davis and Randy Lewis, who were Olympic silver and Olympic gold medalists, like in there practicing every day. But it was like our Hawkeye Wrestling Club room was just insane. It went up and down the road. So, I mean, it was one of those things where, I mean, there'd be fist fights breaking out every day. And every day. It was a pretty intense time. So, I mean, just going through that type of training regimen under Dan Gable, not only just the practice, but then our morning workouts and everything else that were not required, that you wanted to just do just to make sure you're getting better. It's just, and then on top of that, having to go to class and study and getting it was difficult, very difficult. But honestly, you know what, here's the thing, where I was at that point in time in my life, and I've said this multiple occasions, I owe my college diploma to Coach Gable, without question, because without him taking an interest in me halfway through my freshman year. It's my freshman year. I didn't start as a wrestler. I walked on halfway through the season, and I got a whole other group of stories. I've literally been in the bleachers of my practices telling the parents stories because everybody wants to know what it was like wrestling with Coach Gable.
Of course.
I didn't start at my career right away like most kids would do. Like right in the fall, I started halfway through, and I was on a really, really poor track because I just, I didn't have my crap together. I just didn't.
Most of us don't our freshman year of college.
No. But I was at another level. That's another discussion. another discussion off the podcast. So, but he took an interest in me and offered me opportunities that really, very few people in the world just because he saw some potential in me, and literally got me on the right track. And I needed something like wrestling, to keep me on track to where I was motivated to go to class, just because I didn't want to pull down the team, and I wanted, and it structured me. Okay, I got practice at 3. I have to do this. I got this class, blah, 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 to schedule. And it just put me on a structure schedule that I was sorely missing. And I think that's kind of one of the things about college, when kids, when they go and they wrestle in college, yes, it's very, very difficult. And it's very hard. It's one of the hardest things you're going to do, possibly the hardest thing you're going to do in life. But at the end of the day, it provides you with a certain infrastructure that you just don't get as a normal college kid. You don't get a whole coaching staff of anywhere from 3 to 5 or 6 or however many coaches that you have on your staff that really, really genuinely care about the direction of where your life goes. Yeah. That alone is all the benefit right there of wrestling in college. And then on top of that, you go through the things that the normal college kids just don't. And you've got to structure your time properly. You got to structure your recovery time and all that type of stuff. So it's a huge opportunity. But it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
So yeah.
How
about you? What was yours like? Similar?
Yeah. So I mean, obviously in my room, we were not getting in fist fights every day at practice. I can't say I've ever gotten in a fist fight at practice, but that might just be me. But I mean, I agree so much with a lot of the things you're saying that I probably had my crap together a little bit more than most people coming into college, but I think I've just always been able to I'm a last minute person. I'm a procrastinator, and I've always just been able to get by because I know how to use my words, and I'm slightly intelligent, and I can BS things when I need to. But college, really, especially wrestling in college, really brought me down to earth and forced me to, like you said, similar to what you said, is it forced so much structure into my life. Yeah. I mean, compared to a lot of my friends, and probably what would have been me, people who weren't wrestling, I mean, people would schedule class from 1 to 4 in the afternoon and wake up at noon every day.
Yeah.
But I was up at 5 in the morning, and it was not my I would never do that life for myself. Yeah. And I promise you, I probably never once did it with a smile. But I mean, I truly would have never chosen that lifestyle. And I'm not saying I wake up at 5 in the morning every day now, but it's I have a routine of I get up and I start my day, and I can have a successful day. And I think college sport, it forced me to plan. It forced me to be structured. I had my times where I goofed off, and it always showed. But if I wasn't, I think that's what it is for a lot of people. I think it forces a lot of structure. And so you can't just cross your fingers and hope you get by in a college room. You've got to have it together.
And I think it's weird because I think college athletics is almost, it's so far ahead of the curve, as far as our normal society. It's funny because right now you see this was probably maybe 10 years ago when the big CrossFit boom came about. And now all of a sudden now we have this big recovery, boom, where people are sitting in saunas now. They're using ice baths.
We've been doing that forever.
Exactly.
Because we didn't have
daily, they're planning their workouts. It's just it's at a whole other level now. Mm-hmm. Nutrition, is starting to get on point. It's funny because one of the good friend of mine in my BNI referral group, we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago because she ran track at Auburn, and she's these people they're doing ice baths. Ice baths. It wasn't no ice bath. It was a cold plunge. It's a cold tub back in when I was. That was years ago. They're just catching on. So it's I think that society's catching up with us college athletes.
I also have noticed there are so many employers that I have learned about or heard from that specifically look for college retired college athletes. And even sometimes wrestlers. I know I've got employers from different states will sometimes reach out to the coaching staff of my college, and it's just hey, I have this business. I'm in Kentucky. Do you have any former athletes that would want to work for me? I know the personality of a college wrestler. I know the personality of a college wrestler at that. And these are the type of people that I want to have work for me. So there's no question that college athletes are set apart than the rest of society. We're ahead of the game.
That's right. Really. Well, speaking ahead of the game, I think we're gonna start with our guests. I mean, I think Kenny and I could probably dedicate one podcast in one show.
We could just talk.
Just about our experience in college. I mean, maybe one of these times, maybe we'll do that. You never know. Maybe we'll bring back some of the good old days, bring back some stories.
I know, because to be honest, I still feel kind of cheated. You didn't really tell us any. We barely broke the ice.
I've got a lot of it. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. I mean, so it was just like I said. It provided me with a lot of stability and much needed stability.
Okay, I do want to ask a question. We'll squeeze it. Just tell us about the most outlandish, ridiculous workout, team bonding experience, or anything that coach made you guys do in college.
Man, team bond. I wouldn't even consider ours as team. Ours was team bonding every day, just because I think that we were. I mean, like I said, back in the Gable era, and this was all the Gables teams. everybody was 100% confident that they were working harder than literally anybody in the world, not just the United States, but anybody in the world. I mean, we had all the senior level athletes that would come when they really wanted a really hard training camp. They would come and wrestle. They would come and train with us for a couple of weeks. Kurt Angle was there like multiple times when I was there, when he was training for 95 and 96. And so it was just, if you could make it through there, if you could make it through the time that you're there, it was automatic team bonding. I was actually back. I was back. Well, when I was back for the for that
a few weeks ago.
Yes, I popped in the room on Monday and watched. And
that's cool.
And I ran in it. Joe Williams is helping out there a little bit now, so he was a teammate of mine who was he was a couple time world medalist, the 3-time national champ. Of course, Terry Brands, Tom Brands, Dan, all my guys there. And it's just you build this camaraderie and this brotherhood just because of really just knowing what you put up with for all that time.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, outlandish. I mean, I remember some of the runs we had were just ungodly brutal. I remember it actually, Kurt Angle wrote about this in his book one time, and I specifically remember this practice. This might have been from a wrestling practice. This might have been, and I pulled this on a couple of our athletes, not to the quite extent that Gable did, but I remember it was either 95 or 96. It was training camp we were Kurt Angle came in for the 95s or 96s, getting ready for the Worlds and Olympics. But we had literally went through like 4 or 5, like just brutal days of training. And everybody was just worn out. And okay, today for practice, we just got one match. We got one match. Get warmed up, get ready for one match, get in here and get you guys getting out.
It was like a 30-minute grind match.
So sure enough, we get warmed up. We go, all right, shake hands. Here we go. and we start wrestling, and we're wrestling and wrestling and wrestling and wrestling. And all of a sudden somebody said, "What the?" There was a lot of cussing that went on in our room too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And he goes, that's longer than 3 minutes or whatever. And he's like, yeah, oh yeah, I know. It's 3 periods, 20, 20, 20. We're like, what?
Oh my goodness.
Who does that? And it was funny because I read Kurt Angle's book because I'm a huge Kurt Angle fan. I thought it was just amazing. He won a gold medal, broken neck. It's crazy, but he wrote about that. He wrote about that. It was actually one of his chapters about being in there. I think it was one of his chapters, but it was a part of his book where he came and trained in Iowa, and that was that specific story. And I was like, man, I remember that because I remember afterwards we all went down the airliner and ate afterwards. So, but it's funny. But that would have been it. Yeah. But there's so many more that would probably come. I mean, I wrestled with Tom and Terry Brands a lot. I wrestled with Coach Gable a lot. So I mean.
Yeah, so every day.
There's a lot of really
every
rough
day
days.
was an outfit.
There's a lot of really rough days there. A lot of really rough days. And none of them really stand out. So
that's fun. That'll be a question we should ask all of our guests.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. We should. Okay. Well, let's get our first guest on here. I mean, now we're talking college wrestlers. I'm going to pick some of these brains here, but you got a friend in here.
I do.
Right here.
Bring her on.
Tennessee gal, huh?
Hey. What's up?
Should I just probably exit this? I'd let you two take over, right?
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. We should have FaceTime before this, so I could have got my best friend jitters out. But listen, to all of our listeners, this is Emma Walker, senior at Campbellsville University. You wrestled at Clarksville High School?
Yes. Oh no. Rossby High School.
Yeah.
At Rossby High School.
Ooh, them's fighting words, isn't they, Emma?
Yeah.
Isn't that that's a pretty heated rivalry, isn't it? Clarksville and Rossville?
What? Yeah.
Can be.
It was.
Yeah, it is.
In Tennessee, how many times did you win the state championship?
3 times.
Okay, so we've got a 3-time state champion, 3-time NAIA All-American. True.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1-time NAIA championship finalist. So Emma and I were in the finals of the national championship in the same year. This is my drill partner ever since we've been on the same team. This has been my drill part. Obviously, we get around and drill with everyone in the room, but this is my go-to drill partner. We work things out.
The best drill partner.
Well, here we're going to start. I want to start the conversation out with that, because that's everybody has to have their go-to drill partner.
Everyone is.
All right.
And I know that you are BFFs and everything else, but I mean, what's the? I mean, explain to everybody like what the importance is, especially when you get to college, to have that specific person that you can rely on when it comes to like technique development.
Do you want me to answer
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, they hear enough. They hear from me every week.
Well, I would say having Kenya as my partner, I just remember her like tweaking like all the wrong things I do, so I got better through that. And you just have that partner that can push you, past your limits sometimes, even when you don't feel like doing it that day. She was always there to like make my mood better and just help me get through the practice. And I think that's just so important when you have that partner, and when you have a partner that can, knows the moves and knows how to coach you as well. It really did help me grow as a wrestler. So
That's
she really
awesome.
get.
I think so too. Having someone that like when to push them. I mean, there was days when I came into practice and wanted to give like 2% of my effort, and my drill partner was the one that was like, "Get out of your head. We're gonna wrestle hard." And then it was the other way around plenty of times. So,
Right.
being able to like handpick that person is different than. I mean, the personalities of everyone in your room. You know who's gonna work hard. You know who's not gonna work hard. You know who's gonna be clumsy and sloppy. So yeah, it was nice that we got to like hone that in. It was like everyone knew in the room too. Well, not Grandma Emma, because that's Kenya's person.
And like going live, it was also so fun going live with her, because we would go back and forth, and it would just be like just a hard match, like going live.
Every
and we
time.
were going back and forth, doing things that we didn't even know like could be, and figuring things out just as we go. I think that's the cool part about it. Just having somebody that knows about wrestling like that, and they could like when you're in certain positions to know like coach from that, and all that. So
yeah, absolutely.
Good times. I missed.
I know. Stop. Well,
I'm gonna
tell us
cry.
a little bit. Do that later. Tell us a little bit about your experience like wrestling in Tennessee in your high school room versus wrestling like in the room at CU. How are they kind of different? Did you have like the same thing at Rossview? Did you have like your go-to partner and stuff like that?
I did have a go-to partner. I'd work around with people, but I really stuck to one person, which was kind of different than now, because I feel like in college, like you have a lot of different people that know how to wrestle. I feel like when you're in high school, there's not a lot of individuals that have been wrestling for that long, so they don't really know what they're doing. They just started out like me. I started out in high school, so I didn't really know what I was doing either. But in college, you have those people that actually know what they're doing, and they could like work with you as you're wrestling. So I think that's the difference in college versus high school. For practices, I feel like in college it's a lot more technique based, like more so technique and like learning like the right moves and how to get out of them, and defending moves and all that stuff. Yeah, and
that was like the difference in like competitiveness from high school to college was a shock to me. Did you experience this? Like I was 4-time state champion, Kenya Sloan from Tennessee, and then my freshman year of college, I didn't win a single match until like halfway through. Like I mean, I would win some, but I mean, I got my butt beat at Missouri Valley Open. I didn't place at McKendree, and so it was a big shock for me. Did you kind of experience the same thing?
I did. I feel like Tennessee was growing as I was in high school. It was growing as a new like wrestling for women type thing. Like people that never wrestled before joined, and so I feel like the competition was a lot less competitive than college for sure. When I got to college, going to the Missouri Valley Open, yeah, that was a hard tournament.
That was the eye opener. It seems like, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, your first college open, like you think you're something until you walk into that first college open and you're wrestling. It feels like grown women. You still feel like you're a kid, kind of.
Yeah, and they're all super strong, and I'm like, I love it though. I love the challenge, compared to high school. I just love having that extra push that I gotta do.
Yeah. So you guys haven't competed in any opens yet this season. You've got one coming up this weekend, and then you guys will go to Missouri Valley the weekend after, right? Yeah. So tell us what has like the preseason and what has it been like in the CU room so far this season?
Well, usually preseason's like 5 weeks long, and it was only 3 weeks this time around, and so my weight is kind of there. I've never actually had to lose this much weight in a week. It's going off pretty pretty good. I'm doing it the right way. I started early, so I'm getting down early. With
what's preseason like at Campbellsville? What's preseason like at Campbellsville? Give us like a. I know because I did it 5 years, but like tell everyone kind of like what does it look like before you're on the mat? What do you do for training?
We do a lot of running. We do a lot of bleachers. I'm trying to remember back to preseason. My memory's not very good. We do. Man, it's bad that I can't remember what happened during preseason.
That's a big chunk of it from what I remember. A lot of you guys go run those bleachers until I get bored.
Listen, that's what I remember. Listen, and mine's all the way back in the early 90s, and I still remember it. So listen, it brings back a lot of, I think that's
hill sprints.
Preseason.
Hill sprints.
Yeah.
At the park.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I feel like there's more that we did. I remember preseason when like Paulina was our coach, but like this year it was just more like we'd do preseason or the PT, and then we'd do.
So what is the PT? What's the PT test?
The PT, it's 3 miles in under 30 minutes, 50 push-ups, 50 sit-ups, and 2 minutes, and then you have to climb the rope. It's not too hard, but we would do that every Monday, I think, until everybody passed it.
Yeah.
Is the internet okay?
No. It's
okay.
Really bad.
Okay.
We'll get through it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna ask you the same question that you probably heard me. Are you there, Emma?
Yeah, it's kind of going in and out there.
That's okay.
A little bit.
I'm gonna ask you the same question that I asked Mike before you came on. Tell everyone, including Mike and I, like the most outlandish, maybe hardest, just like the biggest thing that you remember as far as like the craziest workout or team bonding type thing that you had to do at CU.
Well, I would say this is a team bonding / workout that Coach Miracle included in our team. What's the word? Tradition that we're gonna start doing every year. It's a 12-hour practice, and that consists of hill sprints, running, and going through the creek and all types of stuff for 12 hours, starting from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's probably the craziest thing I would say we've done. I wasn't there to do it, but last year it was tiring. I mean, it wasn't like super bad or anything, but it was it was
a lot of emotions start to come out at around 3 or 4 in the morning. Huh? Yeah, it's always good.
Too. So it's like you're freezing, going through the creek, getting wet, all that. But I mean, you have a partner that you don't get to choose, so and you gotta answer a whole bunch of questions, and if you don't get them right, then you gotta do some type of workout, like burpees and 8 counts. Let me tell you, that was what consists of most of our preseason. 8 counts.
8 counts.
12 counts and 15 counts at some point, I think. But yeah, we did a lot of those.
Yeah, I miss wrestling with you guys until you start talking about stuff like this. Okay, so tell me, what kind of like pride do you have, like representing tennis? Because we don't have. There's been a few girls from Tennessee wrestle on the CU team, and there was a point like whenever I signed on at Campbellsville University, it was like the #1 ranked women's wrestling program in the country. Like we have a record and a standard and a reputation. So like, what does it feel like to be able to wrestle on that team and say you're from Tennessee?
I mean, I think it's pretty cool because I feel like there's a lot of people in Tennessee, like a lot of girl wrestlers that haven't like got out to, I mean, not that I know of, but out and about in college and like have made a, going to college to wrestle. So I think it's pretty cool opportunity that I got to like come to the #1 team coming from Tennessee, that doesn't have as much like competition, like California and Florida and all that. And I think it's just cool, like coming from that to this and like being a part of something much bigger and like more competitive side of things, I think it's awesome, to be honest.
Yeah.
To do that coming from Tennessee. So
yeah, I agree. Well, we're so proud of you. We're cheering you on all the time. We'll be watching this season.
Absolutely.
We can't keep up with all of our Tennessee people. So you're definitely on the female side going to be one of the most, already just from like preseason rankings, you're probably the highest ranked female wrestler from our state in college. So
That's what's up.
Everyone should have their eyes on Emma Walker. Thanks for joining us. Emma.
That's it.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much. That was best of luck this year in your season.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks again for your time. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dang. How's that, huh, Kenya? Bringing out one of your besties there, huh?
That's a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Man, it's so funny because, she probably thinks the same thing as I'm sitting here, like, asking her these questions. But it's so different to, like, see this. Like, I didn't think she was going to answer those questions that well. No, she's not still on here. But yeah. And it's cool. Yeah.
Tell you what, we'll definitely keep our eyes on her this season, and we're looking for a big season out of her.
Yeah,
we're looking forward to it. So yeah, I tell you what, it's really interesting, just to get just different perspectives on college, but and what it's like to wrestle in college, but it all comes back to like
it all feels familiar. Like,
preseason conditioning is just torture. It's just like how much can we put these kids in the pain zone and keep them there so they get used to it for the season?
It's almost like you can't even put it into words. Like she's like breathing over like 8 counts. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I cried doing 8 counts once. Like I can't believe it's like we talk about it like it's whatever, and it's so crazy to like remember what it was like to go through it. So
yeah. For sure. All right. Well, good. Well, we got another one. We got two more college athletes coming in here, and looking forward to this. We got two. Our next two are like almost like different ends of the spectrum in their college careers. So we're going to start out with a youngster first. We'll bring him in right here. There he is, right there.
How's it going,
Ashton Davis? My man, dude, you look bigger. You look bigger on camera. Hey, boy, feeding up there, Cornell.
I'm slimming down. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know, man.
It's that time of year.
Ashton, this is my co-host right here, Kenya Sloan.
Hi, Ashton.
Yeah, nice she's a Tennessee athlete as well. Wrestling college, won a national championship while she was in her college years, and looking something that you're probably looking at doing similarly there at Cornell. So Ashton wrestles at Cornell. He's I'm going to give everybody a little bit of background. Everybody kind of probably pretty much knows, Ashton Davis and his credentials here. But so Ashton was a 3-time state champ at Cleveland when he was here. Part of 4 state championship teams, couple-time Fargo All-American, couple-time World Team Trials placer, BC East placer. Actually, was Tennessee's winner of the Dave Schultz Award your senior year, correct, Ashton?
Yep.
And now he is at Cornell. So, which is obviously one of the premier programs in the country. So, my man, I got to ask you, how's things going up there? First of all, let me ask you this: how's the weather?
This week it hasn't been so bad. It's like mid-50s. So, we've had a late start to the winter so far, which I'm very thankful for.
All right.
Yeah. That's good.
Well, wait until. Tell you what, you and I need to chat a little bit more in January.
You might have a different assessment at that point.
I'll be hurting in January.
See what you're thinking there. I was back like that. I would tell everybody I was back in Iowa weekend before last. Every time I go back, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's in March, if it's in June, or if it's in December, January. It seems like they just bust out the cold weather for me. It drives down in the 20s. I was like,
they're like,
what are we doing here? What is this? What are we doing? So how's everything at Cornell? How's it going? Give us a little background. Obviously, you got world champion teammate now. And everybody kind of wants to know what's going on and what the experience is like up there.
It's going well. We had a tough practice yesterday, a real bad one, and then another tough one today. And now we're tapering off because we have our first tournament this weekend. So that's good. But aside from that, we survived preseason, it's a big deal. And then things are looking up for our team. So
that's good. So we just had Emma talk about her preseason, what they've been going through. Like, what's a typical? Yours is fresh in your mind. You just get pulling out of it. What's your typical preseason looking at Cornell?
We do a lot of running, and I'm a heavyweight. I hate running, but Coach Gwynn, like Nick Gwizdowski, he's one of our coaches. He's also a heavyweight. He's like big on the idea that like just because you're a heavyweight doesn't mean that you shouldn't do the things that everyone else does. So like I'm doing all the team runs. Like I did the 7-miler with the team. Like I'm doing all the hill sprints. It's tough for me, but I try not to make excuses and just do it with the team and do the best I can.
Wow, that's awesome. That's
awesome. That is awesome. That's awesome that you have him to like he'd wisdom from too. It's easier whenever you have another heavyweight being like, oh, you can do it, versus having like a 120-pounder being like, oh, it's not that hard.
Yeah,
exactly.
Plus, Nick Wazowski, for crying out loud. I mean, it's not like you can't really say, well, you should try it sometime.
Yeah.
You know what?
Like, no, I did.
Or you should do this. He's actually pretty much done it all. So pretty good role model for you there. So love it. How's the academic side going at Cornell? Pretty tough.
Yeah, it's challenging. Like public school in Tennessee is not that challenging academically, but and I got here and I'm in a bunch of classes that I feel like I don't belong in, but I'm holding my own. I'm doing all right. It's not that bad.
Well, I mean, from what I've met obviously more than a handful of times, but obviously with Coach Knox and Coach Boskin and what they said about you, I mean, it's no shock to me whatsoever that you're just gonna keep striving forward and keep knocking things out and keep hammering away, and you'll end up on top without question. There's no doubt there.
That's the goal.
Yeah, no doubt there. So being that Cornell is a pretty, it's obviously a very academic place to go to school, and obviously they have one of the best wrestling programs in the country. How do you balance that? Kind of walk us through, what a day in the life of a Cornell athlete is, especially a Cornell wrestler, and with trying to balance academics and a pretty heavy wrestling workload. Yeah.
So I'll just run you through my day today. So I woke up at like 7:30. I went to class. I had 2 classes, and then a meeting with my advisor. Went back to the wrestling building, did some like recovery type stuff. And then one more class for the day, and then we had practice at 4:30. We wrapped things up around like 6:30. Do a little extra after practice. That's what you got to do. And then, just went and got some food, doing some studying. I have to go see a tutor after this for my economics exam on Thursday. And that's it. Tomorrow morning, my 9 o'clock class got canceled, so I picked up an individual with Coach Gwiz, and then we have practice at 3:45. I have a couple other classes that day tomorrow.
Wow, and then just rinse and repeat.
Starts over.
It's definitely challenging, but we persevere. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. But you come from obviously a very, very successful high school program, and I know that I know what what Joey Knox and Josh Boskin do, to get the kids ready at Cleveland. And honestly, when you talk about like picking up an individual with Gwizdowski, I mean, it's probably not really a whole lot different. I mean, it is you're obviously drilling or learning techniques at a whole other level, but probably not much different than what you're doing at Cleveland. I mean, you guys do a lot of individual stuff there. You do a lot of extra stuff. You do a lot of, just, you're not going to have that successful high school program without doing that type of stuff. How did that Cleveland program get you prepared for, for going to Cornell and going through those everyday rigors?
Yeah, it was, it's definitely something that I'm super grateful for. Like having been able to experience, like Coach Knox was coached by the Brands in college, and so was Boston. So like we had our fair share of tough practices at Cleveland. So I was ready for that when I got here, and I was ready to work hard. And that wasn't something that I was, like afraid of or like struggled with. It was more so like getting my butt handed to me every day was what I had to adapt to. Like I wasn't totally used to that. So that was something that I had to learn from for sure, and just learn to, keep going through those tough practices when I'm not the one that's dominating through the practice. But yeah, Cleveland set me up really well to succeed here in a wrestling aspect for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember. Again, it was. I mean, there's some things that just stick out about wrestling in college, and I remember when I started at Iowa, it was well over it was well over a month before I got my first takedown. I mean, well over a month. And it was, I mean, and I was, I wasn't like the most successful high school wrestler in Iowa. I mean, I was a 3-time state place winner in Iowa, which was pretty good at that time. And yeah, I just remember, I mean, my first, I don't know how many practices, I was like, what am I even doing here? This is, I mean, seriously, I mean, I can't even get to this guy's leg. I can't even grab the dude's leg, some of it. Eventually you just got to kind of stick through it and just kind of go and just keep going and going. And eventually you get one. And then you kind of build off it. But then, then what happens when you're in an ultra competitive room is you get that first takedown against that kid, and then now he's all mad and he's not going to give you one the next time you guys work out together. So it's like, okay, did I really help myself out there or what? So yeah. So, but having a coach like Coach Quiz, I mean, that's got to be huge for you as a heavyweight.
Yeah. So this summer, leading up to his world, like I was injured, so I didn't get to compete myself, but it didn't keep me out of the practice room. Like I withheld my surgery on my knee, but I was still in the practice room, and I was like Gwiz's main partner leading up to his world team trials process. So like I got to learn from him all summer, and then I had my surgery. I came back, and then all of preseason and up to this point, like he's been my guy. He's helped me out more than I could even ever hoped for. So I'm super grateful for that. He kicks my butt all the time. Yesterday, oh my goodness. Yesterday we're doing 1 minute goes. We're doing 1 minute goes at the end of practice. And like Coach Kellen Russell, he was NCAA champ for Michigan. He's like, all right, jog 2 laps, like reevaluate, we're going to go again and we're going to, just do better. Like make those in-match adjustments, just reevaluate right now and then get back to it. We're like 1 minute goes. Okay. So then we like partners get switched around. I'm with Gwiz now. And I'm like, okay, it's just a 1 minute go. Like I'm just going to, do what I do. And then 1 minute goes by, and then 2 minutes go by, and 3 minutes go by. And like, this is like the longest minute ever. It was like a 20-minute go. I was like, this is ridiculous. But yeah, no, I'm super grateful for those days.
Yeah. Well, those kind of get you primed and ready to go. So that's what gets you. That's what gets you to that level. But you guys are coming into Tennessee this year.
Oh yeah, I'm super pumped about
for the National Collegiate Duels. I can't wait. We're hosting that in NBA, so in Nashville. So like I said, we can't wait to have you in there. So it's awesome. One last question. I mean, what's it like representing on the Division I college level, representing the state of Tennessee? You pretty proud?
Yeah, it means a lot to me. Like not a lot.
You're around a bunch of Jersey and New Jersey and Ohio and everybody else up those northeast kids up there, and you might be the only Southerner.
Yeah, there's like a couple guys from Louisiana, but us Southerners are few and far between up here. So it means a lot to me. Oh, I tried to get Logan Fowler to come here so bad, but things didn't work out. But it means a lot to me to represent Tennessee. Like a lot of people, like this is something like a lot of people wish that they could be where I am. So like I'm trying to be super grateful that I got to be here and I get to do the things that I do. And representing Tennessee is like, it means a lot to me because Tennessee is growing, but people don't know it. Like Braden Palmer, he wins the Clarion Open. Nobody posts about it, but like Tennessee, we're raising some savages. We gotta put the world on alert.
Yep. No, they're coming. I mean, more college coaches are coming into Tennessee right now and seeing the talent we have there because we have a lot of really good things going through. We get a lot of good things. So without question. Now, where are you guys at this weekend? Last question. Where are you out this weekend?
We're going to the Journeyman Classic.
Okay. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's a good one.
A lot of tough. Penn State will be there, NC State, Arizona State. So we're going to get a lot of good competition. So it'll be fun.
Absolutely. Ashton, we've been meaning to get you on forever. Me and you have talked about this for a couple different times. So I'm glad we finally got you on, buddy.
Yeah, it was good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Won't be the last one, that's for sure. I guarantee we'll have you on this thing at some point in time.
I appreciate it.
All right, my man. Well, hey, best of luck to you this weekend.
Nice to meet you, Ashton.
And like I said, make us proud, man. Just keep grinding away up there, man, and just keep at it.
Will do. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Yeah, he's a great kid.
Yeah, what a great mindset too. Just so much humility and gratitude, and I think that takes people really far.
Oh yeah. He's pretty dang tough too. He's young. He's a youngster. He's just getting on the scene. So he's gonna be he's gonna definitely raise some eyebrows. He's gonna be good. He's gonna be good. He's good. So that question. Well, good. Well, we got another one now. I go way back with this dude.
Okay.
And I might have to get him on here and just
bring him on first, and then
a little history. There he is. Jeez, who is this guy? You look a lot different than when I first started.
I'm seeing a resemblance actually.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh shoot.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good, Mason. I don't know if that's a good thing, but so Kenya, this is Mason Reiniche.
I'm Mason Reiniche.
How's it going?
Shoot, when were you coming to our Chattanooga Wrestling Club? When you were third grade, maybe?
I was probably 6.
I mean, it was a long time ago. A long time ago. So a little history on our relationship. So I used to run the Chattanooga Wrestling Club in Chattanooga when I was at UTC. And so Mason was like one of the younger kids that would come and wrestle. Like, I mean, Mason was, I mean, he's always been like a phenom. I mean, like just elite level. I mean, every level he's gotten to. And he'd come in as a middle school and wrestle with high school kids all the time. So, and he's at every national tournament. And so him and I have known each other for a long time. Him and his dad, myself and his dad are really good buddies. His dad was actually looking over one of my rental houses, actually both my rental houses in Chattanooga for a while when I was out west. So I've known the Reiniches forever, and they are just, I mean, amazing people. So you know what, Mason, I was checking our text. I was like, okay, because your dad sent me your number.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went through, and for some reason I didn't save it. So the last text that I had from you, I was sending you a Zoom link because I was at Chattanooga recruiting you, trying to get you to come to Chattanooga. And I was like, oh, missed that. That's right. He didn't come to Chattanooga. That was it right there when he was transferring from Cornell. So yeah, so just a little bit about Mason for those of you that don't know Mason Reiniche. I mean, he's again he's been a staple in Tennessee for years and years and years. But his high school career, he was at Baylor School, 3-time Tennessee state champ, 3-time national prep runner-up. Started his career at Cornell, of all places that we just had Ashton on here, but then made his way now out west to Oregon State. And tell you what, now he's, I mean, really coming into his own. And man, I'm just looking just to see, kind of what happens with him. So he had a big tournament last weekend, but let's welcome Mason Reiniche. This is my co-host, Kenya Sloan. Mason.
Nice to meet you, Kenya.
Nice to meet you too, Mason.
So, but yeah, no, Mason started out at Cornell and then got back into the portal, was transferred from Cornell, and then ended up. This is your 4th year there. This is it right here.
Technically, this is the 4th year, yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'll have another year of eligibility though.
Okay.
Because of COVID, and then I technically have a red shirt available that could be used, and then I'd have this year and another one after. It just
you're gonna be like 36 years old and going to
actually I'd be having a cane out there wrestling.
Are you planning on taking advantage of a couple of these years or no?
I'll be definitely wrestling next year, but it just depends if I use a red shirt or not on this year's wrestling, if I'm gonna have 2 more years left or not.
Wow. So how's everything going out in Oregon? Going good?
It's going good. We got a good team this year. Probably the deepest team we've had. We just had our 33-pounder redshirt freshman got there, beat San Latona this weekend.
I saw that.
A lot of good guys. Our backup 65 went out there, pinned the number 24 ranked kid in the first period. So we've got a pretty deep team right now.
Yeah. No, you guys are doing some really good things out there for sure. When Pendleton took that over, he's been doing some great stuff. Hired Nate Engel. Shout out to Nate. So yeah. So you guys are doing great things out there. You can just tell just by not only the recruiting, but the performances, everything's going really, really well. And I've got to kind of, rein back my excitement about that, Mason, considering, I've still got a little bit of Cal Poly blood in me. So we'll, you know what I'm saying?
That's impressive.
I can't cheer too loud for you Beavers, but I got allegiance there a little bit to Cal Poly, but I'm cheering for you. I'm always cheering for you.
Yes, sir. We got to get that little back last year.
I know they got you last year, didn't they?
They did. They were the in-season Pac-12 champs. They
I
said.
know. Yeah, I tell you what, that's crazy because when we took that program over, it wasn't anywhere close to that. That's for sure.
No. Yeah, they did some good things. They got the Lamers over there, and they're working their tails off. That's for sure. They had Evan Witt come out of there. They've had a lot of really tough guys.
Oh yeah. No, John's done a fantastic job since he's been there, and then of course getting Chewy there too, and now Evan's on staff, and he's just just continued to build it gradually, and it's just kind of what it takes. I think for any program, it's super important just to. Everybody wants to win right away, of course, but also things take time. They take time. You just got to keep baby steps and just celebrate small victories, which is always I think a really good way to do it. But getting back to you, and I mean, you've kind of had a long grind at it. You have, and now last weekend, so that's why I wanted to pop you on the podcast right away, because man, you had a great weekend. You beat a couple time national qualifier in the semis there. To get in the finals at Ohio kid, the Reiniche kid. So that must have been a pretty good win for you. And then got in the finals against one of your teammates, but which was obviously you guys didn't wrestle in the championship, but had a pretty good tournament though, huh?
Yeah, I had a good one. My second match, I could have had another pretty decent kid out of West Virginia, Buddy Conley. He's 26, I think, but he actually got beat by our third string.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so I had him in the quarters instead. So, I mean, our team is freaking deep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sounds like it.
Tell you what, that's impressive, though. That's impressive. You've actually had a good run at it here, even in the off season. You placed last year, or you placed last summer at the freestyle.
Each one threes after missing weight.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm bumping up a weight and still placing though, still All-American.
Yeah, that was a grind of a tournament. I haven't wrestled that many matches back to back like that since high school, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I hooked your dad up in that hotel room, so I was following you. I didn't know you were wrestling. And Darren back in the corner for you, like old days.
Yeah, he was having a struggle. I'm sure he's on now. Doesn't want me to say how hard it was for him to get up and down on the mat and the chairs. He said he was sore than I was.
That's funny.
That's hilarious. That's funny. Well, kind of walk us through kind of what give it the day in life of a Oregon State wrestler. What you guys got going on, maybe academically, maybe just practice wise and everything. What's it like to wrestle in college at a place like Oregon State?
Oregon State's pretty nice. I mean, the academics being from kind of Baylor or the prep school to coming out here, it's depending on your major, it can be rigorous, it cannot be rigorous. I'm a finance major, so I still have to do a lot of things for my academic side. But here, the one interesting thing is it is cheaper to take online courses for out-of-state students than it is to take in-person classes. So a majority of my course load is all online. Yeah. So I'm able to go in and get any practices at any time during the day that I need. And then I just come back home. I either hop on a Zoom, or a lot of it's just all on my own. I'm kind of just running myself through the program. Then I have all the tutors available for me that I can go into our BRC, which is our Beth Race Center. It's the Student Athlete Tutor Center. And I go in there, and any questions I have, they have certain tutors set out for each major, each class, and I can have them help me with anything I need. But I just they just assign me assignments, the quizzes, the tests, and I sit at home. I kind of teach myself the material, learn it through. If I have any questions, I go ask them. And I get to go wrestle. But on a regular day-to-day, we have lift in the morning. We'll have every Monday we have 5% weight checks. 5% of your weight class. Hydrated. So you got to make sure you have enough water in your system. And I go do that at 8 o'clock. We go get free breakfast every morning. And we have lift at 9 o'clock. Conditioning afterwards. We go back home, do some homework, relax. Then go do some recovery. We got some great massage chairs. Penalty real big into recovery right now. I won't give away all this stuff. We'll get mad at me.
Yeah, right.
A bunch of different things going on in the room right now with recovery. We put about an hour 15 every day in recovery on our bodies, and then we go into practice at 3 o'clock, and then kind of done for the day. Do whatever you want. Go home, do some homework.
Wow. So all your classes are online?
This term they aren't for me because I'm starting to get to the higher level. And I have to take some in-persons they're not offered online. But my first 2 or 3, I think 3 years here, all my classes except for one were online.
Yeah.
Really?
Is that typical for a lot of your teammates too? Or is that just for you?
Just about all my teammates. Most of them are out of state. Oregon doesn't have that many kids that are coming up through the college wrestling grind. But so it's just cheaper for us, and we kind of go through that. There's a few that are Oregon that actually go to in-person classes because it's better for their scholarship to do that way.
Mhm.
But the majority are all online.
Man,
Wow. I
sounds
wonder
like it offers you guys like a very unique experience to prioritize your training.
Yeah.
Maybe other college teams.
Yeah, they it just really gives us that freedom to be able to come in anytime our coaches are in they have a little coaches lounge in our lounge, and they're in there all the whole day. And if we have any questions or any video, we just go right in there, and they'll just kind of work with us right in there.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh, I wonder how many. I mean, there's probably. I mean, I would bet there's a lot of colleges that might be going towards that type of structure, though. I mean,
Yeah, after COVID, it just kind of put everything online. The rest of the schools, and I know Oregon State hasn't really transitioned back to many in-persons yet.
huh? Interesting. See, I was in school way before these online. We didn't even have. There was no line at all. Yeah, I remember I was out of school and then the internet came in. But wow, that's I just looking back, and that would make things, I shouldn't say easier, but I mean, wow, just being
A lot
able
more
to
flexible.
time off. It's amazing.
It definitely does for your recovery, for your mental state, to be able to get done with a hard practice. And you don't have to worry about going into class.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a freshman, every freshman's mandatory 8 hours a week of study hall.
Okay.
And you have to get it in right after practice. You go in there from 6:30 to I think 8:30 at night,
Mhm.
4 days a week. But that's really the only thing you have to do in person.
But that's actually got to be more help than hindrance, I would think, just because now it forces them to be on their computer. Oh, okay, well, I might as well knock this class out. Instead of going home and like,
Yeah.
I remember. I shouldn't say the toughest classes for me, but the ones that I remember like vividly would be, because I was a phys ed major, and we would have like tennis class or teaching or coaching softball or coaching basketball or something, whatever. But it was an actual physical education class. Like I had to dress out. So we'd have runs in the morning at 6 a.m., and Coach Gable, and ours would always involve some sort of sprint laps and always involve some sort of Carver stairs. And I would be walking out of there, my legs would be shaking, and I'd have to hustle the class to this like whatever coaching tennis class, and yeah, whatever. The poor instructor. Okay, let's go. Get up and start jogging. Let's get warmed up. I'm like, warmed up? You kidding me? I can barely move my legs. And now I gotta go play. I gotta play tennis. This is the last thing I want to do is do anything like physically active right now. So yeah, wow. Well, that's a cool aspect though of Oregon State, though. I think being able to do that stuff online.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good deal. Now from a wrestling standpoint, obviously you've been in a couple of different locations now. You've been at Cornell, you've been in Oregon State, and I'm not going to ask you to compare the two because I don't really want to do that. But what attracted you to Oregon State, and what's kept you there and kept you flourishing? Because you're really coming into your own right now. I think as a collegiate wrestler, you're doing some really good things, and now you're starting to really, really turn it on to where basically levels that I knew you'd be capable of.
Yeah, I mean, what originally attracted me here was your boy Nate Engel.
Yeah.
He was one of the nicest guys going through the recruitment process.
Yes.
And even when I initially committed to Cornell my junior year, and he kept in touch with me all the way through high school, and even my first year at Cornell, he would just text me every now and then, "Hey man, how's it going? I hope everything's going good with you." And then when I hurt my knee and decided to get in the portal, he was the first person on my mind. I was like, oh, and he was at Stanford at the time. Yeah. And I like the academic side of a university. And I texted him, and he goes, "Well, don't say anything, but I'm actually probably going to Oregon State. Would you think about coming over there?" I had never thought about Oregon State as a university for me.
Yeah.
It's on the other side of the country from Tennessee. It's not very academic based, as to what I thought at first. Mm-hmm. But then I got here, and it's awesome. It really feels like a Tennessee atmosphere. Just the mountains, all the beautiful scenery, the hiking.
Yeah.
The only thing that's different is the rain. The rainy seasons they're rough. It's a great time out here, and then the coach is just really, really invested on your performance over outcome, and I kind of think that's what's kept me here.
Right.
You can, everybody loses and drops some matches here and there, but they could be way more mad at you for winning a match than they would be for losing just because of how you wrestle. And that's something that I'm sure most universities care more about that, but they're really, really just driving it home that you got to be wrestling, and that's how you're going to get better. And that's why I think that our team is taking the turn they've taken.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I don't know Pendleton obviously nearly as well as I know Nate. Like I know Nate pretty well, but Chris is a great guy too as well, and I know you guys have a great staff there. But I do know Crooks really well. Actually, I was trying to recruit Crooks. I'm like 0-2 on your team right now, trying to recruit you guys. We had Crooks. So Crooks was with us at GCU when I was there with Coach Cerritos and Coach Stith, and I love Crooks. He was coming. He was in going to GCU. And then they obviously dropped the program, so we went to Cal Poly, and we were like, okay, that's the one kid we got to go hard after is Crooks because he was a freaking stud. He was a hammer, and I think he just took a courtesy visit just because he liked Cerritos and I. He wasn't going to go to Cal Poly.
He told me the story about his visits. He loved it. He loved you guys. That's for sure.
Yeah, I love that kid. He's awesome. Yeah, no, he's good stuff. And like I said, Nate's awesome. And like I said, and it's no shocker that you guys are doing what you're doing there. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens here in the future, not only with Oregon State wrestling, but also with my man Mason Reiniche.
Yes, sir.
All right. Anything else for us, buddy?
No, nothing like that.
Anything to tell us about anything to tell the Tennessee up and comers?
Put yourself in hard matches and hard situations. Get battle tested. Don't take the easy way out in high school. It's way easier in college with that curve if you're out there wrestling the best guys in the country every weekend that you can.
Yeah.
Love it.
I agree.
Love it. What do you think of that, Kenya?
I agree. We've heard this advice from the best wrestlers and best coaches on our podcast. So
that's it.
Glad we get to hear it from someone else.
That's it. Well, Mason's going to be right there. No doubt about it. My man, always good seeing you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Nice
Absolutely.
to meet you.
Absolutely. Tell the family I said hello and tell Nate I said what's up too. And Crooks.
Will do. Stay good, Hatch.
All right, bud. Appreciate you.
See ya.
And I didn't see that dude. He's really grown up, man.
Yeah, he's trying to grow a beard like yours.
I know. Shoot, that dude. Yeah, I got a little bit more gray in that one than he does. But no, he's awesome. His family, I've been really good friends with their family for years, and just he was, he's been a hammer ever since Darren was taking him around at all the national tournaments for years, and he's just he's one of the most accomplished wrestlers that's ever came out of Tennessee, especially from the youth middle school level for sure. He's always placing all those national tournaments. Really successful in high school, and and plus they're just great people. So I'm really happy for Mason. He's really starting to really turn it on, and I'm looking forward to seeing kind of what happens with him. I'm glad he's really happy. He's in a great spot out there with
you can tell he is, yeah. Yeah,
super happy. So I'm really excited about it. So excited about seeing him. So well, we got one more guest here, and then we can wrap this up. We can get on this whole college theme we got here. Let's get him in here right now. Malakai Moore.
Yo, Coach. Can you hear me?
How we doing?
Can you hear me? I'm doing all right.
He's doing all right. Yeah. Well, this is my co-host on here, Kenya Sloan.
Hi, Malakai.
She went to Cumberland also.
I went to Campbellsville.
I was gonna say no.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was listening in. I heard she went to Campbellsville, and I was like,
it always confuses me. Like, Campbellsville, Cumberland. I can't.
I know.
Yeah,
it doesn't help that they're both in Kentucky.
No,
it's actually funny when me and Coach Ruff started talking, which is the head coach at University of the Cumberland.
Yeah,
he had actually thought I was meaning to email the coach at Cumberland University. I was like, nah, I'm emailing you. So it was something.
Well, here's the reason I want to have. So Malakai wrestles. He comes to our Young Guns practice.
Yeah.
And he wrestles for Hillsboro High School here in Nashville.
Yes, sir.
And so last weekend, and I don't mean this in respect. So our last couple of podcasts ago, we had Cooper Hilton, who is all world. He literally has been to every national tournament since whenever, and been at the highest levels. NAIA, same thing. Yeah, Casey, but. This is a very, very unique situation here. I shouldn't say unique, but this just to me, I really love this. That Malakai, his love for the sport of wrestling is awesome. You can just tell he loves to wrestle. So credential wise, he's not nearly like on any of these levels, but he kept his persistence. Emailing coaches and stuff like that, and now he is going on to wrestle at. Go ahead and announce it. Malakai,
University of the Cumberland.
There we go. And that's what being diligent and loving the sport of wrestling. That's what everybody should take note of, that there's a place on the college level for anybody. There is. You just have to you have to have a desire to wrestle in college. And like you and I were talking about earlier, Kenya, not everybody has a desire. They might say they want to, but when rubber meets the road, they don't want to do it.
You've got to have the desire to do it and the guts to stick it out, which sounds like exactly what you've done, Malakai.
Oh, yeah.
So congratulations.
Oh, yeah, no. I remember, I think it was I had started wrestling in 8th grade. And when like 8th grade wrestling, like middle school wrestling as a whole and high school wrestling was a complete drop off. I remember wrestling this kid from Wilson Central, and bro, man, and that was
it didn't end well, huh?
No, not at all, not at all. And it was like one of our first matches of the season, and like Coach, I told us before, guys, this is gonna be a tough match. This is gonna be a tough match. But I mean, bro, put me in one of the meanest halves I had been in my life, and I was like,
yeah.
But that's kind of when I learned that, like, if I had wanted to be good at this sport and like actually go far in it, that like I'm gonna have to take it seriously,
right?
And I'm gonna have to be I'm gonna have to be an overachiever when it comes down to it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I first met Malakai. He was on our Fargo team, not last year's, but the year before. He was on both. He's been on the Fargo teams for the last 2 years, but he was one of the ones, because you'll have like the Fargo. Some kids know what Fargo is, and some kids don't know what Fargo is. They come and they're like, oh, okay, I'm just going to show up. And so Malakai, I think, was kind of one of those guys that like he just kind of showed up.
Like,
everybody else is coming with their team.
Yeah.
He come rolling deep with his family and everything else. I'm just going to wrestle Fargo because I want to wrestle Fargo. I'm like, okay, all right, here we go.
I kind of had a good idea of what it was.
He went out there and I get that. Your first match at Fargo, Russell was telling me, he goes, yeah, I just kind of asked him. I said, what do you like to do? And he said, well, I just kind of like to throw people. He said, okay, well, go.
Let's go throw some people.
So he went out there and guns blazing. And, but he, like I said, he wasn't scared. And he just, he just, in my eyes, he just, he wrestles in the Tennessee freestyle tournaments and the Tennessee state tournaments and the Greco and freestyle. And it's like, loves to wrestle and do that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's great to see him finally, getting to pursue it at the next level.
My first year at Fargo was something. I'll tell you. My very first match was against a kid from PA that had what do you do? He plays first at the US Open up in Vegas.
Yeah.
And like and I did not know this. I wasn't even looking at brackets. I was like, okay, I'm about to go out here and wrestle how I wrestle. And I get there, bro snaps me. I'm like, okay, I can get out of this. That gator roll, bro. That gator roll. Oh my God.
But you know what I'm hearing is just someone who's like not as scared to step up to the plate. And like we talk about it all the time, similar to like the advice that Mason just gave us, like more than anything, more than just wrestling from the time you were 6, or more than just like being in like having so much natural talent, is the people who aren't scared to step up and accept the challenge and work hard when it's not easy, are the people that, get to make their dreams come true. Like you're such a perfect example of that, Malakai. So
thank you.
Feels like an honor to have you on. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So now walk us through real quick here, Malakai. Like you said, that you emailed the coach. So your recruiting process was a little bit different than, like I said, we had Cooper Hilton on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, the first day that the recruiting it was open, it was a floodgate with him. He's got but you actually have to, and this is what kids don't understand about this recruiting process. You got to recruit the colleges as well, as much as they recruit sometimes. So what happened with yours?
Yeah. I want to say one day, I was after Fargo. There was one of the wrestling parents was like, you should really start emailing coaches. And I was like, okay. And Coach Ruff was actually one of the first coaches I had emailed, and I had emailed him. He had responded pretty quickly. He asked me to send over my film. I had sent him film. He had liked what he saw. He was like, you should really get down here for a visit. And then come to find out, some of the coaches I train with, like, I don't know if you know Overton's coach, Coach Leo Hardy, and then one of MLK's what is it? Side coaches, Avery actually wrestled for him.
Oh, cool.
And so when he had found that out, he had called them. They was like, oh yeah, no, this kid is a really hard worker, and he's only been wrestling for about 4 years. And so then when I got up to the campus was beautiful. The campus, for starters, it's like isolated, like it's like in the middle of nowhere. And I don't know, I didn't want to go to like a really big school. The campus was beautiful. The team was real open. The team was very open. They were real nice and very accepting. And honestly, Coach Ruff was also really cool too. Like when you see him, you would think that he's like this like big buff guy, but bro's like skin and bone.
Oh yeah.
we won't let him do the podcast.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I always listen to that.
But he was like one of the nicest people I have ever met ever. And he had told me straight. I mean, he was like, there's been kids that's been doing this all of their life. Like literally all of their life. For you, like why should I recruit you? And I was like, well, I mean, work ethic. I have a really good work ethic. And I mean, like my coaches that told him, I am gonna go in there and put in the work. And he was like, okay. And he had thought I was a senior last year, so he had asked me, what was my FAFSA looking like, and he was just he was gonna tell me how much money he was gonna give me right then. And I was like, whoa, I'm a junior. He was like, oh. And so after that we've been staying in contact. I've been getting practices in with them.
Good.
Time from time. But then I started talking to Arizona Christian, University of Wisconsin Parkside, York University up in Nebraska, Jarvis Christian, and all of those other schools. And what really dragged me back was just they have a really, like, I want to major in English education, and they have a really good English education program, but also just that place felt like home.
Good.
Like it was a very homey feeling. And they're doing renovations right now to their wrestling room and their locker room, and I was like, well, I have a good coach. We're gonna have really good training facilities. It's not, it's not too far from home. Why not?
Yeah, I actually I had a couple kids when I was coaching in Miami. A couple kids of mine had ended up wrestling there. Damian Stevenson, I believe, is an All-American for him.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah, it's a campus, very pretty campus. You bet. Absolutely.
Yeah, no.
Well, good. Well, like I said, I mean, that's a cool thing that you went ahead and took the initiative to find yourself a place to wrestle in college. I think that's important.
Yes,
so that's awesome. Well, good. Well, I'll tell you what, Kenny, you got anything else for Malakai? We're getting into an hour and 20 minutes.
I know.
Your boy Junior just he's pushing this hour and a half podcast.
I know. He's really pushing it. Man, Malakai, we're just so proud of you. And
thank you.
I think you're just a great example to a lot of athletes, like male and female athletes alike, wrestlers in Tennessee who want to wrestle in college. Everyone's story and journey to get there is different. And I think you're just such a great example. And we're gonna showcase you and probably talk about your story. I will at least talk about your story to lots of girls who want to wrestle in college. And I'm like, this is what you need to do. So.
Yeah. You got to make you got to make your own opportunities.
Yeah, this year planning on being I'm going for state champ.
Good.
I'm going for state champ this year. Going to wrestle 165.
Love it.
I'm going to go 165 this year, and yeah, we're aiming high.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah, can't wait to see you again out here. I'm sure after you win the state championship.
Yes, man.
Well, Malakai, buddy, we appreciate your time. And like I said, it's a lot of congratulations to you. And like I said, just, man, I'm really proud of all your diligent work to get yourself, to a position where you're going to be wrestling next year. And that's just, it's fantastic, man. It's awesome.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy. It's
All
good
right,
talking
nice
to you.
It was nice talking to you too, Coach.
Got it.
It was nice to meet you, Miss Kenya.
Take care, bud. Good luck this season.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's a great
Oh, that's
kid.
awesome.
Yeah, he's a great kid. And that, like I said, that just tells people, that, listen, it's not where you start, it's where you finish.
Yeah.
And you want the opportunity, you want to do it in college, you can do it. There's so many programs out there.
So many. And I think a lot of people will get discouraged. Like he said that he started wrestling, year before high school. And it's easy whenever you're like, oh, well, I know so many people who've been wrestling, since they were 7 years old. So why should I get to wrestle in college? But it's all about my dad always told me this. And as I got older, I've seen this exact quote written on so many t-shirts. So that's probably where he got it from. But he would always tell me growing up that hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And I've seen it over and over again throughout my entire life. You can be the most talented kid in the room, but if you're not putting in the work, you're not going to be in the places you want to be. So
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many, kid, youth, middle school, All-Americans, national champions, and high school, All-Americans and national champions, they get to college and they just fizzle just because, either they're burnt out or they just don't want to.
your talent will take you so far if you don't have the heart and the drive to work hard. So.
Absolutely. And you have to. And what's intriguing, I know just, one of the factors that when I was coaching and recruiting in college, one of the factors that we always brought in was, okay, how long has this kid been wrestling? If he's only been wrestling like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. Cause then you can
success at this level. Shoot, he's got a lot of years left in him. Whereas, okay, this kid's been wrestling for 15 years. He's probably, and now all of a sudden
this is as good as he's going to get.
Yeah. Plus his performance is starting to dwindle a little bit. So he might be getting a little burnout. It's just, you just never know. You got to take that into account. Whereas, this kid has never even been in a full wrestling cycle yet, as far as a year-round cycle. He came to some of our freestyle practices last spring. Wasn't like in attendance the whole time. So it's not like he grinded it out all spring. He's also, I saw him, he's working a lot in the off season too. So he's a worker. There's no question about it. I wish him the best of luck. It's going to be awesome. I really can't see, I can't wait to see how he does in college.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just like the example that he sets, that he's taking the initiative to reach out to college coaches and say, listen, coach, I want to wrestle at the next level. I really do.
Yeah,
so.
I do too. It reminds me of, it keeps bringing to mind the story of Tamara Mensah-Stock. I hope everyone knows that name. She's an Olympic gold medalist. Her first year.
I got a picture with her.
Oh, look, there you go.
You got not last year's state leaders convention, but the year before. Yeah, and the state leader summit. Yep. I was like, shoot. Here, come here. I need a picture of you.
Her first year of wrestling was her, I think, sophomore year of high school.
It's crazy.
And then she went on to wrestle, I think, at Missouri Valley. And she could have easily been one of those people that's like, I've only been wrestling for 3 years, so why should I go to college? You know, or like, why would someone offer me a scholarship? And then has success in college and then wins an Olympic gold medal. Like, what a story. Like, believe in yourself and work hard. It doesn't matter when you start.
I hear you. And I'm telling you, I think I honestly think it helps a lot of times. Mm-hmm. It really does. Wrestling is so hard. It's just
if you do it, if you've been doing it
for so long at such, that's why you look at a guy like Jordan Burroughs that's still doing it at a high level at this age. It's like, oh my goodness.
I wonder all the time.
A very, very, very small percentage of kids that can start when they're like 8 years old and take it all the way through. It's just percentages aren't there. They're just not. It's so hard. So, but good. Well, I hope listeners. I hope you guys got some really good perspective on what it's like to wrestle, in college. And we'll keep having these college kids come on, just because I think it's great to highlight that we do have a lot of Tennessee kids.
Yeah. And they're easy to lose once they're in Oregon or whatever state they're in. They're so easy to lose track of. So
I know
we can be a part of it, but it brings me back down to earth to just see like, we're not just doing good like in Tennessee when we're young. Like we've got these kids out here doing awesome things. So
I know. We got guys that Cooper Flynn. He's wrestling at Virginia Tech. He was on a world team. He's on the world team. Freestyle a couple weeks ago competed. Who else we had? Hunter Mason's at Virginia Tech. Of course, Cody Chittum's at Iowa State.
They're everywhere.
Oh, then we got
everywhere.
We got a couple in Army, West Point Army. We got one of the year Chucks, and then actually 2 of the year Chucks are at West Point. and also Trey McDaniel, Cleveland kid. He's at West Point. So we got them all over. I mean, I know that we've got some Christian Brothers kids that are up in that are all they're all actually spread out all over the place. Derek's got like, I think Harrison's got, man, he might have the most kids wrestling in college out of all the high school coaches in
that's awesome.
in Tennessee. He's got like 7 or 8. He's got a lot. He's got a lot of them.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So we're listen, we ain't hurting for guests, that's for sure.
Yeah, it will never be a problem.
Not at all. Not at all. All right. Well, good.
Right. Yeah.
What do you think, Kenya? Good episode?
I
thought
think
so.
it's a great episode. Yeah, it was so fun. We're having more and more fun every week, or at least I am.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, I hope everybody kind of got a perspective on what it's like to college and what, kind of how to, take advantage and how to kind of move forward, and get opportunities and just if they want to do it, opportunities are out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for this Tuesday. It's awesome having some of these guys on, and we'll
for our power hour and a half.
Yeah, power hour and a half. Rename it. So, as soon as we rename it, I got to check the. I think we might be over 100 subscribers now. Never know.
We're start offering some prizes.
Yeah,
to the 1,000th subscriber.
Yeah, that's low down the road.
We'll get a prize.
we actually need to almost maybe even come up with a gift, like a being on the podcast gift, like a coffee mug or something.
Oh, or a T-shirt.
Or a T-shirt or something.
Because people wear T-shirts in public.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Until next time.
Everybody probably tuned off. They're done.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next week, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Hope you're watching it either live or on tape delay. And we will see you all next week on Tuesday.
Next Tuesday. Bye,
Later.
guys.